A woman who's brain dead gives birth to a child. When his father saw him, he immediately intervened. The athlete, who'd been brain dead since December of last year, gives birth to a baby boy in Portugal and is buried the next day. Catarina Sequeira, 26, was 19 weeks pregnant when she was placed in an induced coma. She was born on Thursday following her coma. Her condition worsened, and doctors decided that a planned C-section should be performed sooner rather than later. Salvador weighed only 375 grams when he was admitted to the hospital, and he'll remain there for 3 weeks following Ms. Sequeira's eldest son in Portugal. Ms. Sequeira's mother described her feelings as bitter delight. A former international athlete who'd been brain dead since December gave birth to a baby boy to his mother and father. She gave birth to a baby boy named Salvador before passing away at St. Mary's Hospital. When she'd been brain dead for 56 days, she met John Oporto. Catarina Sequeira, a canoeist, was 26 years old. She was due to give birth at 32 weeks, which would have been on Friday, but her condition deteriorated, so the doctors scheduled a cesarean section for Thursday instead. Her funeral was scheduled for Friday at 2:30 p.m. She was later pronounced brain dead after slipping into a coma on January 1st. According to the BBC, she was 19 weeks pregnant at the time, and for 56 days a ventilator kept her breathing so Salvador could survive. The baby was born alive thanks to Portugal's presumptive consent rules and the wishes of Miss Aquarius's family. Being a donor entails not only being a positive to donate a liver, heart, or lung, but also being a positive to offer yourself so that a child can live, according to Felipe Almighty, the hospital's ethics advisor, in her description. She explained that she would be unable to fill the void left by her daughter's death. The baby was born weighing only 3 pounds and 75 centimeters and will be in the hospital for at least 3 weeks. In recent years, there have been 2 cases in Portugal of brain-dead women giving birth to children. The first occurred in 2016 when a child named Lorenzo was born in Lisbon after spending 56 weeks in the womb of his brain-dead mother. Why was the case decided by the organ donation law in Portugal? Doctors had originally planned to deliver the baby on Friday, when the mother would have reached 32 weeks of pregnancy. The procedure was moved up to Thursday due to the woman's deteriorating respiratory condition. Instead, it was thought that the baby's survival rates were highest during the first 32 weeks of life. The law governing presumed consent organ donation is known as the Presumed Consent Act. As he put it, being a donor entails not only being able to donate a liver, heart, or lung, but also being able to offer yourself in order to save a child's life. According to The Observer, he stated that no one has the authority to interfere with the mother's decision-making process. Following the death of their daughter on December 26th, the baby's father, as well as the rest of the family, expressed a desire for the child to be born. Maria del Fatima Branco Sequeira's mother stated on Portuguese television that the decision to keep the baby was made because the father was unable to care for the child. Thus, according to sources, the infant weighed 1.5 kilograms at birth and is expected to stay in the hospital for at least 3 weeks. Lourenco, another child, was born in Lisbon in 2016 after spending 15 weeks in his deceased mother's womb. He is the second of 3 children in the same situation. A brave mother from Portugal chose to keep her child in her stomach regardless of the risk. When the infant died unexpectedly after 107 days of pregnancy, she was born in a healthy state. Sandra Pedro was the woman who had lived and brought against Portugal for the past 8 years with her son. Sandra went to the doctor as soon as she found out she was expecting her second child to get some information and advice. Doctors warned her about the serious risks she would face while pregnant in this facility. Sandra had previously battled pneumonia, heart problems, and even a brief coma. She also underwent successful kidney surgery. The 37-year-old woman, on the other hand, was moved by her love for children and her desire to become a mother again and decided to take the risk of keeping the child, despite knowing he was in danger. Sandra Pedro chose not to abort him and instead chose to keep the child in her abdomen. Sandra was on the verge of death in the intensive care unit in February 2016 as a result of a brain hemorrhage. Sandra's unborn child's gender was known at the time, but she was unable to track the development of her baby's uterus. Sandra died on February 20th. This death, however, opened the door to events that have never occurred in Portugal and are likely to be unique around the world. When the 37-year-old woman died, doctors performed an ultrasound and discovered that the baby's vital signs in her womb were in perfect condition. The baby's heart was healthy and continued to beat normally. The mother died, but there was a strong indication of her death. Doctors were taken aback by this occurrence and reported the results of the test to the St. Joseph Hospital in Lisbon's Ethics Committee. As a result of this committee's decision, Sandra's family, as well as the family of the child's father, Michael Angelo Ferrari, agreed to allow her to continue her pregnancy in order to ensure the child's survival. The infant was given the name Lorenzo Salvato. Since then, machines have been controlling Sandra's body. Her family was going through a difficult time, but they had to stay strong for her. Sandra's brain activity has stopped and she's been declared clinically dead. However, life is still sprouting within her. Sandra, despite this, transforms into a living nursery. An entire crew of more than 80 workers worked round the clock to keep the mother's body active and her uterine circulation flowing. Sandra's child was born in the 32nd week of her pregnancy. The miracle happened 107 days later. Many people are crying because this is a situation that no doctor has ever seen before. After the machines are turned off, the mother's body is returned to her family, and the baby is found to be in perfect health. Sandra gave birth to a healthy baby 107 days after her death, which was regarded as extraordinary. Sandra is a courageous mother, and it's thought her death that a new life had been formed. Following Sandra's death, the baby girl gave birth to a son named Lorenzo Salvo, who was christened Lorenzo Salvato. Meanwhile, a brain-dead pregnant woman had been kept alive for 123 days, gives birth to twins in Brazil. Medical science has progressed to the point where it's possible to keep a brain-dead woman alive for 123 days, the longest period of time ever before performing emergency cesarean section on her and giving birth to twins. Franklin Dilsalva Zamboy, 21, of Campo Largo, Brazil, died in October of last year while pregnant from a stroke. She was 21 years old at the time. She was 9 weeks pregnant at the time. The doctors decided to save the embryos because their hearts were still beating within the mother's womb. At the time she was 9 weeks pregnant, it's hoped that the staff at the hospital's Nosso Sahara de Russia will decorate the area around Franklin Padilla's bed with her images in order to sing to unborn children and converse with growing infants in an effort to provide them with a mother's love. Mariel Padilla, their father, considered the birth to be a miracle, and doctors told him that there was no chance of survival due to a brain hemorrhage. Franklin died at the age of 9 weeks into her pregnancy. In February, she was taken off the ventilator. When she passed on, they performed an ultrasound on the embryos, assuming they would fail in the womb.